The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA Network, and welcome to my review show here of Impact Wrestling's Under Siege pay-per-view from May 26, 2023, from the Western Fair District Agriplex in London, Ontario, Canada. I'm, of course, your host, Karlifornia. It's a joy to be with you all once again. It's been a while since I did a review here. It's been a few weeks, and it always seems to come in a mad rush. It seems to come in waves, these things, because you see, not only do I have a 12-hour shift at work to do tomorrow, and then Monday to Tuesday, I have to do a 24-hour shift at work. But during all this time, I've had to spend my Saturday watching this Impact Wrestling pay-per-view. Then while I'm at work tomorrow, I have to figure out a way to watch the WWE Night of Champions pay-per-view from Saudi Arabia. Then when I get home from work, I have to record the review. Then I have to try and watch XPW after that and record the review before I go to bed. And then I have to try and get up early to watch the NXT special before going to work. And then by Tuesday, when I get home, hopefully I would have watched the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view, and we'll review that then. So some of these reviews will be late, some will be coming at odd times, but look, this is the way it is. I have to do 5 reviews in the space of 3 days. It's impossible. But anyway, we're here now, and we're watching Impact Wrestling Under Siege. So let's just get cracking, hey? We started off with the countdown to Under Siege. The Coven, the Impact Knockouts World Tag Team Champions in a non-title match, defending against the Death Dollz. This one went 7 minutes and 27 seconds. Impact have always put together teams for the women's tag team division, like actual teams, not like what the WWE do. They just throw random people together. But the thing is with the Impact division, for the tag division here for the ladies, it always seems like there's just only 2 teams at a time. It doesn't feel like there's a division of 4 or 5 teams. And I've said this a few times in the past, I don't think it would hurt to maybe try and bring in a few more to make the division seem a bit more competitive, instead of like there's 2 teams and then one wins the feud, and the one that doesn't win the titles or the feud, they break up and go elsewhere. Or they just disappear. So that's just how it feels when it comes to this division. But that being said, at least they still do stuff with this division that comes across important in a way, like this angle between the Coven and the Death Dollz. So I really thought it was an interesting change, seeing Rosemary not as Rosemary but as her old gimmick. Which do I not have it written down? I can't believe I didn't write it down. But she's gone back to an old gimmick, an old name of hers. I will say, I think Jessica Havoc, very hokey a little bit as a baby face. I get what she's doing though. She wants to get the crowd into the match. I think Taylor King, it's a local wrestler here in WA. Western Australia. Kylan King and Taylor Wilde. They work very well together. So I think they are good tag team champions at the moment. I thought the match had a good finish. And yes, I had not realized that Rosemary had changed her name to her old gimmick. It's Courtney something. I can't remember. I keep thinking it's Courtney Love, but that's not it. It's not Courtney Love because she's the lead singer of Hole. But I think it's good that Rosemary has got a fresh coat of paint, as they say. So let's move forward. Impact Digital Media Championship, Joe Hendry defending against Dirty Dango, mate. In 5 minutes and 43 seconds, this one went. So not very long here for the Impact Digital Media Championship, which, again, I've said it so many times, but I don't get what the title was supposed to mean. Is it supposed to be like the new version of a television championship because it's not just TV anymore, it's digital media? I don't know. But I do like Joe. He's very good on the mic. I think he has some talent. I would like to see him in different scenarios, though, which might be helped if I actually watch the weekly show. But again, don't have the time. I don't know how to feel about Dango. I think he's cool, but he hasn't stuck around anywhere long enough for me to really get into him and what he does. You know, obviously I saw a bit of him in WWE, but they didn't really do, you know, justice for him as far as creatively is concerned, especially when they had that fashion police thing and it was clearly very good and entertaining, but still, now we just don't want to do it. Instead, you know, just the fans were enjoying it, but no, because the higher ups don't like it, then we don't get it. It's just so stupid. It's not about what you want, fucking assholes. I don't get Dango's attire for this one. I do not understand the shorts, no knee pads, no elbow pads. Just a bit of a strange look, I think. Of course, we get our obligatory Joe Hendry power and strength spots early on to show off his strength. I thought Dango, again, I'm not picking on him, but I'm just saying, I thought he announced last year he was retiring when he was tagging with JTG in the NWA. But maybe he's struggled to find his niche elsewhere and maybe he needs to take bookings in order to get by. Who knows? But as the match wore on, Joe kind of dominated a lot of the match, but Dango, with desperation, hit a big-time low blow as Joe was closing in on the victory to get the DQ loss. There was a post-match attack from Dango on Joe Hendry, and I wish Dango would show some facial expressions, some anger, some frustration. He had a very monotone kind of face as he's beating up Joe Hendry. I want to see the guy yell, "Carry on, show me some fire, bro. Show me some fire." You're frustrated at this stage of your career. You still haven't really seen the heights that you've always thought that you could. You were up here at one stage. You beat Jericho at WrestleMania for the IC title, whatever it was. And yeah, at the stage of your career, you're almost retired. You got to take all that journey that the character's been through over all these years, in and out of developmental, all that stuff. You got to take that and you got to implement it into these moments when you're beating somebody up because you're pissed off because you can't seem to find the success that you want. Santino makes the save. So I'm sure we're getting a Dirty Dango Santino thing down the line. And it's interesting seeing two authority figures in Impact in separate feuds with separate people. Not picking on Impact, I'm just saying it's kind of funny that that's what's happening right now. Let's get to the main pay-per-view. Under Siege. Under the Siege. Nick Aldis takes on Kenny King with Sheldon Jean at ringside. This match went 8 minutes, 58 seconds. I kind of wonder what's going to come of Aldis in Impact Wrestling. I'm interested. I do think Kenny was a little bit of a step down for Nick on his way into Impact. And it's not a knock on Kenny, but we saw Aldis have a confrontation with the new Impact champion at the last pay-per-view. I have to say, though, I went into this pay-per-view maybe in a bit of a bad mood. I've been a little bit depressed lately, I suppose you could say. So I spent most of this show trying to get out of my funk. And I feel like I'm out of my funk now after seeing that main event. But anyway, so please keep that in mind with my notes here. I could be a little bit negative at times. I was not buying Kenny King's offense early on in this one. I don't know why. I just couldn't get into him today. Aldis hit a sweet pump handle fall away. And of course, Kenny got me invested with a snap power slam on Aldis. But I started to think to myself, are there any stakes on this match? Is what is coming the way of the winner after this match? And if it's just the winner's purse, then that's boring. Aldis hits an elbow off the top rope. Sheldon interferes. He gets clocked. And then King nearly pins Aldis. And I popped that there was a move being called the Eddie Gordo. And if you don't know who Eddie Gordo is, then maybe you did not play video games in the late 90s. Powerbomb into the cloverleaf from Nick Aldis. Gets the tap out. It was good, but I expected great. Just being honest. Aldis points to the crowd as he's walking up the entranceway. Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich are fighting in the crowd. So this is good. This is a feud that you kind of want to see here. You want to see Killer Kelly get elevated a little bit more because she is interesting and she does come across legitimate. And so does Masha as well in her ways as well. I did find it humorous that, look, they're not huge women, but the security couldn't even stop these two. I just thought it was a terrible work from the security if you can't get these two to separate. I did like that Killer Kelly went over in the brawl because she needs to be established as more of a contender. Masha's had a time. I think maybe, seeing a fresh face move upward in the women's division or the knockouts division would be a breath of fresh air. Finally, the referees and security come out as Masha is getting choked with a chain. Masha. And to end the segment, I wrote, Killer Kelly is hot, dude. Because she is. Gia Miller backstage with Jordynne Grace. Don't have much to say here other than Gia's eyelash extensions are terrific. The eyelash game on point, girl. I thought that this promo was very monotone. Oh, God, there's too many people in wrestling that just do interviews talking like a normal person does. And that, to me, doesn't sell tickets, brother. Not picking on her. Heaps of people are like that. Watch a Wesley or Roxanne Perez interview on NXT. Painful. Coming up next, six-man tag. The Design taking on Sami Calihan, Rich Swann, and Jake Crist. This one went 10 minutes, 12 seconds. If you were looking for a pop for Jake Crist on the reveal as the surprise tag team partner for Sami Calihan, then maybe the entranceway shouldn't have been pitch dark when he rocked up to join Rich Swann and Sami Calihan on the stage. And I mean, Tom Hannafin, he knew it was him. Matt Raywalt, he knew it was him because it's on their fucking format. But no one could see who it was. So I don't know if the people in the crowd could see who it was. I found out who it was because I was watching the broadcast and I had the commentators tell me. Anyway, the Design are repped by Big Con, Angels, and Dina. Everyone diving and bouncing off Con was a good spot. They're trying to dive onto him on the outside, but they're just bouncing off him. But I did not like Con waiting for Crist's moonsault, the Asai moonsault. That was a tad bothersome to me. He waited a little too long to catch him and then fall down. I feel like Rich Swann at this stage in his time in Impact Wrestling, all he's doing is getting recruited to help other people with their problems. I think he was involved in the Honor No More storyline. I think there was some other, situation where he joined up with another team, recently. So I think they need to think of something interesting for him. It can't just be about seeing him do his specky moves. We need character stuff, bro. That's just me. Hated, I'm sorry that I was so negative on this one. I hated the super kick spot where they were trying to take Con down, right? And Calihan and Crist grab Rich Swann in a suplex and they lift him up and they place him on Con's shoulder. And then as he's been placed on Con's shoulder, Rich slides down his back and goes for a sleeper hold. Why not just run around him and jump on his back for a sleeper hold? He wasn't going anywhere. He was just standing there. So why would you need to pick him up for a I hate shit like that. It's unnecessary shit. It's fucking Young Bucks fucking shit, bro. I hate stuff like that. You don't need to do unnecessary stuff, boys. I'm sorry for being negative. I'm sure it'll be like a case of, well, why don't you fucking get in there and have it? Because I don't want to, and I would never be able to, okay? But I can say when something annoys me, okay? That's just me as a fan. Sorry. Another complaint. Angels does a roll through off the apron, right? He gets tagged in. He does a roll, And then when he's going to get up from that roll, he's going to hit an elbow drop. It had no momentum. You do that roll, then you got to get onto your feet and jump up. It has no effect on how much force is in that elbow drop. So again, I just hate people doing things like a roll before doing something for the sake of it to make it seem like it's more spectacular than it is. It's unnecessary. It's like Austin Theory doing a fucking roll through the ropes and then jumping up for a drop kick. Bro, just step through and drop kick them. Like, you don't need to do the roll. It's not important. The design probably need the win here as far as I'm concerned, because they went this way last pay-per-view. They should go up this time. It seems like they always cop, the shit. And here's another complaint, man. Like, usually I don't complain about Calihan matches. I don't have much of a problem with him, but I hate moves in unison. Deonna and Angels, I believe, are going for a double whip on Calihan and Crist, right? They go for a double Irish whip. They just happen to get their Irish whip reversed both at the same time. And then they both happen to get picked up and hit with a double Death Valley driver. It's all so convenient, isn't it? I hate how fake shit looks sometimes in wrestling. I don't mean to be so negative with this. Wait till you see what I have to say about the tag title match later. But again, there's too many kicks to the head and the skull in this, How about 2 kicks to the head in a match, not fucking 12? Cactus Driver 97 on Deonna. Angels provides some good shit towards the end of the match. And then Swann gets the pin on Angels via a roll-up. And I was like, I don't understand that whatsoever. The angle is between Deonna and Calihan. I would have done something that got Deonna up on Calihan here, so we could move forward with the angle and get it to go down between those two at the next pay-per-view. I don't know. So I don't know, like Swann getting the pin on Angels, like I just don't agree with that. Anyway, Gia Miller backstage with Santino. We are now setting up some sort of angle with Santino and Dirty Dango. Whatever. Moving forward, Gisele Shaw, the quintessential diva, with Jai Vidal and Savannah Evans at ringside, takes on Trinity. This match goes 10 minutes, 28 seconds. Trinity, the former Naomi from WWE. I thought this was going to be interesting. It's my first time seeing her since her WWE exit. I dig the hair. I like it. But I feel at this stage, the reinvention of Naomi to Trinity, right? She's changing the name. I don't think she needed to retread her glow in the dark WWE gimmick. You know who she is. I don't think she needs to hang her hat on that. I think she needed to take this time to reinvent. You got a change of name. Hey, we don't need to worry about that glow stuff anymore. But that's just me. There is a woman called Trinity from Impact Wrestling's history. We all know who Trinity is, right? I interviewed her on the Insider's Edge podcast. I'm aware she's retired, but I don't know. Would Trinity Fatu have been too difficult? It's a tough one, isn't it? Because that's a real name. Anyway, so Trinity's showing she's still super athletic as the match begins. And another, I'm complaining a lot here. Savannah Evans, she's just doing what she was doing with Tasha Steelz. I know that Tasha came back and got a win over Savannah or whatever, but now she's just still being someone's bodyguard. You would have thought that feud that she had or was going to have with Tasha Steelz would have elevated her to becoming like a regular worker on the roster as opposed to hired muscle for somebody else. I'm really not trying to be negative. I'm just saying. And I do understand that Impact Wrestling going through some sort of like transitional phase here because they just had a bunch of angles at the last pay-per-view wind up. So, and they've had a few injury worries. So I'm seeing that they're resetting things as the year's moving forward. Anyway, Savannah interferes as Trinity is firing up. Good stuff. Gisele Shaw adding more maneuvers to her repertoire. I'm noticing she seems more aggressive. She's more confident out there. She doesn't feel like it doesn't. When you see Gisele Shaw run toward her opponent now, it doesn't look like she's thinking about all the spots that, you can see people's minds ticking over, that they're thinking, so they're moving a bit slower. They're a bit stuck in the mud when they're running toward their opponent. But she seems to have finally, like, I don't know, put the pieces together and feel. It just seems I can feel the confidence. I feel the confidence. Gisele toying with Trin, I thought that was bad psychology. Gisele Shaw should be wanting to get the win, bro. Not mucking around. Trinity hit this it was like a DDT, but with her legs. It was really strange, but it was awesome. But I will say I did not feel the heat behind this match, even though it was very good. Great split-legged moonsault by Trinity. I even thought to myself, would it hurt for Trinity to lose this? Like, not everybody needs to have that fairy tale beginning. I remember when Adam Cole joined AEW, and I made this slight suggestion that, wouldn't it hurt if Kazarian beat Adam Cole in his debut and spoiled his fun day, his big day? Wouldn't that have been fun? Something different and unexpected. And everyone's like, oh, you can't have him lose his debut. What are you thinking? You have no clue about wrestling, do you? This is like, bro, like, it doesn't have to be that fucking same foregone conclusion every time. It was just a suggestion. You have the guy being known as the Elite Hunter, and he doesn't do any damage to the Elite whatsoever. Oh, yay, he's running on another match again, and he looks really pissed off. That's a hell of an Elite Hunter, isn't it? Oh, wow, he never got a pinfall victory over any of them. Oh, the angle just fizzled out, and he just stopped bothering going after them. Wow. Fucking compelling television, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, like, I understand Trinity probably needs to win here on pay-per-view. That's fine. Vidal getting fucking nailed off the ring apron was one of my favorite parts of the match. I love that shit. The Starstruck submission gets the tap-out victory here for Trinity over Gisele Shaw. Interesting finish. But even I could have told you, I think Gisele Shaw is a little bit too petite to hit a code red on when Naomi, is a heavier lady. I think you should only hit a code red on somebody the same size of you or bigger. Just doesn't seem right. Like somebody bigger than you hitting a code red on you. It will be like Damian Priest hitting a fucking code red on Rey Mysterio. Wouldn't that be stupid? Anyway, foregone conclusion. Let's move forward. That was good. It was good. Gia backstage with a tag team called Subculture. And again, I'm negative again here. I'm just like, what is with wrestlers these days looking like normal people, and they just talk like normal, boring people, like that you're about to have a championship match. I want to hear some like interesting vocals on people when they're talking. I want to hear them announce and pronounce and emphasize words. But people just stand there and go, yeah, it's great to be here in Impact Wrestling, and we're really looking forward to this opportunity for that's so fucking cookie cutter boring shit, dude. Give me something. We are here in Impact Wrestling. We can't wait to get an opportunity here tonight at the tag team titles. Like that makes my ears perk up like that. Like I'm interested to hear what you have to say, because you actually sound like you're interested in what you're about to be fucking doing. Anyway, just to make the segment even better, we get our cookie cutter fucking interview interruption that we always get in pro wrestling now. And it's the Good Hands and Brian Myers, which make it even more boring than it was in the first place. Sorry, I do like Brian Myers. I think he's a good wrestler, but the character is boring. The character being boring should be the gimmick. Not like Lance Storm being boring in WWE with Stone Cold and all that, but anyway, let's move forward. I'm sorry that I got so worked up then. It's stupid, but whatever. Impact World Tag Team titles. Oh no, I'm about to be more negative. Honestly, I did enjoy the pay-per-view. I did. The Austin Bay Club, ABC. So I guess they're not the Bullet Club anymore. I don't know. They take on Subculture with Danny Luna. And this one goes 13 minutes, 14 seconds. I knew ahead of time going into this that I was not going to be into it. I think their tag team division needs a bit of an overhaul. I don't think I'll ever get into Ace Austin and Chris Bay. It's just a leg slap tag team. And I'm not saying that I've never enjoyed a match of theirs. I have. It's like how I probably will never be into Kevin Owens. Like some acts, I just can't get into them for some reason. Because I already know that this match ahead of time, there will be obligatory dives and the whole match is going to be choreographed. I dare them to go out there and have how long did this go? 13-minute, 14-second match where you call it in the ring and just have the finish laid out ahead of time. I double dare you. Double dare you. Anyway, I will say that Subculture were working very hard to prove themselves to a new audience here. Not a fan of Chris Bay going for a Russian leg sweep and Ace Austin hitting like a running, sliding baseball drop kick onto the leg of the guy who was getting the Russian leg sweep in order to add more emphasis to the leg sweep. It's just, again, soon after this, there's a spot. Oh, I hate this spot. Chris Bay comes, gives like probably a forearm to one of the dudes who hits the mat hard, and then he suddenly rolls to the outside. And as soon as that happens, Bay is up. He's ready to run off the ropes and do a dive to the outside. As soon as they go to the outside, they're already setting themselves up and getting themselves all ready to run. And I hate it because it's a dive that means nothing. There's no point to it. It's not because of desperation or happenstance. It's just for the sake of it. The guy got knocked down. He went to the outside, and you're going to run off the ropes and you're going to jump over the top on top of him. We see them all the time. Everybody does them. I don't really see how wrestlers don't see that the more something is done, the less it means, the less reaction you get to it. It's not necessary every single time to get your match over. It's not. You can do so many things. You don't have to do dives every single match. It's just fake, man. Like, I'm sorry. There's another moonsault to the outside by Mark Andrews. What a boring name, Mark Andrews. Like, sounds like a real estate agent. Code Red that took place. I see it all the time. In fact, I saw it in one of the last matches, even though it was badly executed. Ace Austin hit a springboard missile drop kick. That was actually pretty cool. A lot of ferocity behind it. Another thing, Impact crowds never get on their feet. They're always sitting on their ass. And again, more dives. Don't get me wrong. Webster's plancha off the ring post was really cool, but nah. And guess what? We get a "This is awesome" chant from the crowd because they think wrestling is about hitting cool moves and kicking out of everything. And remember, by the way, they chanted "This is awesome" while sitting in their seats. If it was that awesome, you'd be out of your fucking seats, you lazy so-and-sos. Oh, no, sorry, by the way, there's a "Fight Forever" chant. Very lackluster. Fight forever. You don't really sound like you want them to fight forever. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Fraudulent. Just fuck off. Of course, we knew that the ABCs were going to win this one. And they did. They retained the titles. Let's move forward. X Division Championship match. Trey Miguel defending the title against Sabin, the former 8-time X Division champion. So it's kind of like a battle of different eras of X Division. 18 minutes, 34 seconds. When I knew this match was coming up next, I wrote, "Yo, we need a palate cleanser here. I'm sorry, we needed something different before this match because it's just, you can't have two of the same things in a row." And I know that I look like I just, was milking a cow then, but that's just my hand mannerisms sometimes. Sabin has let me try that again. Sabin has been doing a lot of same stuff for a while. Does he need a fresh coat of paint? I think Sabin and Shelley, have they ever feuded? I don't know. If you know, chuck it in the comments. I don't know if they've ever feuded or the tag team's ever broken up. Trey has really upped the ante with the character work since turning heel, which again, it always seems like heels are more interesting than baby faces. And I thought that this was pretty good, this match. But I was mainly excited for the main event of this show. Because see, the thing with these shows is like every match, everybody's taken to their limit. The formula gets a little tiring sometimes when there's not those different flavors on the show. They've all been straight up wrestling matches. One thing for Trey Miguel, he better keep an eye on his hair thinning the way that it is. Talk to Tommy Dreamer. Talk to Chavo. They saved their hair. You can save yours, bro. Chris Sabin kicks out of a Meteora. That's okay. Trey reacts to the kick out and looks to the crowd with his facial expression of shock. This is character work. You know, he's thinking about his character whilst the match is moving forward. Where's my tight shot on camera through Impact's production team? I want a tight shot of the expression. He's doing it for the crowd and he's doing it for the people at home because it's telling a story. Some people attempt a "this is awesome" chant, and I write, will you just fucking cut it out? I don't mean to be a dick, but for Christ's sake, man. It's a good match, but if you're chanting, "this is awesome," like you're half asleep, then you're just doing it just because you've been trained in your fucking mind to fucking do it. It's so I can't stand wrestling fans. I'm sorry. I know they're trying to have fun, and maybe I'm being a dick, but fuck, man. I like the tit for tat between the two toward the end. That was a tongue twister. I like the tit for tat between the two. I like the tit for tat between the two toward the end. Very good. Not sure about Sabin hitting the destroyer, though. I don't think that was necessary because then he hit a huge clothesline. And then as he's going for the cradle shock, Miguel gouges his eyes. Felt like what happened just before that kind of meant nothing if Miguel was able to suddenly gouge your eyes after being planted on your fucking head. Referee gets messed up with, a ref bump, which was fantastic. It's one of my favorite things. Great drama with the referee being down, Sabin hitting the cradle shock. Again, I start laughing because referees always have to be woken up. Like he's just been squished in the corner by a wrestler, right? And generally the wrestlers these days are the same size as the referees. Oh, I love it, man. It's so ridiculous. And so the referee has to be woken up. He's just, like, fuck, man. Like, you weren't hit that hard. Fuck me, dead. Spray paint to the eyes of Chris Sabin by Trey Miguel, and he retains the title. I liked that. I like that they're implementing the character shit in this with this guy. Let's move forward. Number 1 contenders match. Moose, Eddie Edwards, Jonathan Gresham, Yuya Uemura, Alex Shelley, and Frankie Kazarian. So what is this? A 6-man first pinfall to a finish becomes number 1 contender. This goes 11 minutes, 47 seconds. And I thought to myself, oh God, a multi-man match, great. But you know what? I really like this. I thought to myself before the match began, Alex Shelley definitely could be a contender, man. I dig that Kazarian's calling himself the heavy metal rebel. I like the moniker, and it seems like Kaz would probably have the same music taste as I. Wish I could interview him. I think because the last pay-per-view was the culmination of a heap of long-term angles. They're just in the middle of another reset period here in Impact. It happens. You have these long angles, and when they end, you got to kind of like start a little fresh again. You got to keep. It's difficult. Trust me, it's difficult to keep things fresh. Because you want to keep it fresh for the fans. You can't keep having Moose in the main event program for years on end. You got to do something different, as time wears on. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out again. I was sensing a Kazarian victory here because I think Maclin versus Kaz at against all odds would be good, but I'm sure that'll happen at some point later down the line. I did think Yuya Uemura felt a little out of place in this one, but then again, I haven't been watching the weekly show, so I don't know if he's racked up like, a great winning streak or something like that. But I thought Heath might have made more sense because he's at least had a world title match within the last year. Moose ruining the big tower spot was exactly what I was hoping for. The fans are so disappointed. I did not care. I loved it. We don't need to see a tower spot every single multi-man match. Moose with some jackknife power bombs, one after another on a whole bunch of the guys, which was fantastic. Everyone was getting their shine. And I love that, the hard flurry of a finish where you have a guy hit a finishing move, he turns around, he cops a finisher from someone else, they turn around, they cop a finisher from someone else. I like that stuff. And it just so happened that Alex Shelley was the one to get the pinfall after the, the shell shock? Very interesting and a great finish. Gia catches up with Trey Miguel backstage. I liked the angle here. Sabin comes after Trey. This is the type of interruption that I want during an interview because Sabin has an axe to grind, let's say that, with Trey Miguel after being spray painted in the eyes. So we're seeing some heat here. Cool, bro. Like it. Impact Knockouts Championship match. Impact Knockouts World Champion Deonna Purrazzo defends against Jordynne Grace. And this match went 13 minutes, 22 seconds. Another, grumpy Karlifornia comment here. There was a dude at the beginning of the match trying to start a Jordynne's gonna kill you. Jordynne's like, and I was like, fucking give up, dude. He kept trying. And then a couple other people tried to join in, but no one else. Like, shut up. Shut up. Like Taz and Samoa Joe, yeah, I get it for stuff like that. But when people are like, Hook is going to kill you, Jordynne, no, we don't need to keep fucking throwing this on every fucking person. Just leave it. I'd rather people chant that for Jordynne Grace than fucking Hook. I'm sorry. I don't believe in it. It's just so... Anyway, Deonna needs to keep this reign going, bro. Jordynne needs to maybe leave Impact, honestly, and go somewhere else for a while. Not that I'm sick of seeing her, but she's done so much there already. It's kind of getting a little bit stale. Maybe it's time to move to a different territory, brother. I'd like to see Jordynne in NWA for a while. I've been saying that for ages. Her and Camille would be a great match to build towards, a big show later in the year for the National Wrestling Alliance. I love the reversal of the head scissors by Jordynne into a stun gun type move on the ropes. That was very cool. The crowd's still pissing me off, though, with the dueling, lackluster, let's go, Jordynne, virtuosa. Let's go, Jordynne, virtuosa. Like, don't fake that there's this competition between like a bunch of fans in the crowd that one really wants Jordynne to win and the other half really wants Deonna to win. I don't believe that for a fucking second. Okay? I don't believe that for a second. I would even venture to say that there was somebody chanting both chants. I'm sure that there were a few. Deonna is really good at rolling through into her Fujiwara armbar. I like that. There was a spot that was nuts where Deonna hit like the scooping leg tombstone. Boom. That probably could have been the finish. But then Jordynne Grace kicks out of Queen's Gambit. I would have rather the rope break, just saying. Great suspense building to the finish. Love the reversals of the finisher attempts with the Gambit and the Grace driver being averted by both ladies, brother. Queen's Gambit off the second rope. Fucking fantastic. Annoying camera angle. Thankfully, we got a replay. Great finish, though. They do that sometimes, Impact. They miss something just a bit. I'm really excited about the fact that there is a 1,000th episode of Impact Wrestling coming soon. I might review that. I've never done a review of a weekly Impact show, so that would be interesting. Impact World Heavyweight Championship coming up next, the main event here. No DQ. It's Steve Maclin, the champion, defending against PCO. 15 minutes, 34 seconds. I expect this to be very good after PCO stole the show at the last pay-per-view. I see this is already exciting out of the gate. It's always exciting seeing a PCO match because you don't know what's going to happen next. It's like watching the Briscoes when they had their tag team matches. I always felt on the edge of my seat, not knowing what's going to happen next. I have to say, though, PCO keeps taking all these fucked up bumps, man. Like, I don't know how he does it. It's like he's like Mick Foley, man. Like he takes a suplex onto the stairs. Like the stairs, suplex onto that part. Fuck. He's nuts. There's a point where he's back in the ring with Maclin and he gets thrown to the outside so violently, like through the second rope, and he just like floats through and lands on his back. Like, fuck. You know, I hurt my back just sitting in my computer chair watching this show. Seriously, I've hurt myself. I don't know what I did, but the suicide dive by Maclin was interrupted with a fucking cookie sheet to the fucking face of Maclin. It was amazing. Right in his skull. And Maclin was bleeding so badly, dude. Like, honestly, watch this match. I'm not giving it a juicy boy recommendation. I'm giving it a Karlifornia recommendation. Just to see Steve Maclin pissing out with blood. It was pissing out, dude. And I couldn't think of anything else other than as I was watching this, I was like, that looks too much. That looks like too much blood is fucking coming out of his skull right now, like right here, right? Like you could see, I got this note later on, but you could see every time his heart beat, like a little bit of blood fucking shot out. Just, and I was like, fuck, man, like, you crazy motherfucker. I want to say Steve Maclin tries to stick a trash can between the ropes, and then he's going to put PCO in a tree of woe. I love that I acted all out for you. Put him in a tree of woe on the ropes with the trash can behind him. Unfortunately, the trash can fell out. So the crowd start chanting, "You fucked up. You get in there, you fat son of a bitch, and you try it." Not everything's going to fucking work out perfectly. But he does it again. This time hits the court in the crosshairs on PCO, who's in that tree of woe. Yo. Something messed up before, but Maclin was able to pivot and work on the fly. That's how you do it, brother. One of the most confronting spots I think I've ever seen in pro wrestling. This match honestly deserves a platform like bigger than what they unfortunately get at this stage. They deserve more people to see something like this. I think they should put it for free on their YouTube channel if they're allowed to. There is a lot of blood though, but here we go. This is the spot. Steve Maclin has a staple gun and he fucking staple guns PCO's mouth shut. So fucked up, dude. And then what happens? PCO fires back, you know, he's all messed up, right? It's all stapled, all shut. PCO grabs some pliers, dude, and he's pulling the staples out of his mouth. Man, close up, great shot from Impact Production. Thank you. Sickening, and I love it. Maclin's face at this stage was completely red, like Kane's mask, but it's blood. Two concrete slabs are placed on PCO's back, and Maclin grabs a sledgehammer and smashes them. It's just for a world title in wrestling. It's gone from wrestling to murdering. PCO kicks out. Then he no-sells. Guess why? Guess why it's cool? Because it makes sense because he's like a Frankenstein. Maclin's head still pouring out with blood. It's everywhere. The whole ring is covered in it. It's all down his arm. It's down his back. Like, unbelievable, man. The only time I think I've seen someone bleed more than that is Eddie Guerrero. Anyway, this is match of the show. PCO takes a horrible bump onto the ring apron. And then cinder blocks are brought into the ring. It sounds like I'm describing an XPW match right now. Cinder blocks are brought in the ring by Maclin. They've been stacked together like a flatbed of cinder blocks put together, right? PCO manages to get the advantage and finish off stacking these cinder blocks. He goes to the top rope. Maclin grabs PCO and fucking slams him off the top rope onto this bed of concrete cinder blocks. And then he gets the KIA by Maclin, the double arm DDT onto PCO on the cinder blocks. It's over. Great match. And just when I thought that this show could not have ended any better, Eddie Vedder, we have Steve Maclin grab the microphone. His face is completely covered in blood, and he calls out Scott D'Amore because Scott D'Amore said he would put the title around Maclin's waist and he would shake his hand if he beat PCO. Bully Ray, out of nowhere, attacks Scott D'Amore, right? So D'Amore puts the title on him. He goes to shake his hand. Maclin just walks off. Disrespect. Bully Ray from behind attacks Scott D'Amore. No security coming out. That's okay, all right, because this is an angle. We get a table. Maclin grabs a table. They start putting lighter fluid on the table. Matt Raywalt from commentary gets in the ring, very upset, saying this is going too far. He gets hit. He gets wiped out. PCO is back in the ring. He gets clocked. I'm like, what is going on here? Motor City Machine Guns make the save. They get clocked. I like that. I like that. Because Shelley's going to be facing off with Maclin at the next pay-per-view. So, of course, it makes sense. Anyway, more lighter fluid on the table. Scott gets powerbombed through a flaming table. Scott D'Amore gets powerbombed by Bully Ray through a flaming table to take us off the air. Unbelievable. Security did nothing. A couple of referees came out after the bump with a couple of bottles of water and a little hand towel. Oh, man. Anyway, Bully Ray and Steve Maclin have formed an alliance here. Bully lifts up the hand of the Impact World Champion as we go off the air. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. My review here of Impact Under Siege 2023. Wow, it did go for quite some time. I try to get these reviews under 30 minutes, but I just had a lot to say about this. So despite my complaints, despite my negative comments on certain things, certain matches, certain spots, I did enjoy the show. And I think the main event had a lot to do with changing my mood because it was just so incredible. And the post main event angle was so incredible. And that's one thing I want to give Impact Wrestling some props for. They always seem to end the pay-per-view on a bit of a cliffhanger. Maybe not every time. Sometimes the babyface just needs that decisive win or whatever. But we always seem to get a hot angle as we go off the air, which would then make people, geez, I want to see what happened to Scott D'Amore. I need to tune in this week for Impact Wrestling to see what happened to him. So props to them on that. To give this a rating out of 10, I'm just going to straight up give it a 7 out of 10. A lot of it kind of, there were matches that I liked, but there were a few matches there I was just like, I'm getting tired of seeing the same formula. So I'll give it 7 out of 10, and I will have to give the performer of the show to Steve Maclin. He's proven that he deserves to be the champion right now, and also got to give props to PCO as well. And geez, is there anyone else that I could give props to? No, don't worry about it. But yeah, those two, definitely fantastic work. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, my review here of Impact Wrestling's Under Siege. Please check us out on prowrestlingtees.com. Please join our Discord and don't leave. Like, we got to let you know when things are coming out. And people just go like, there's too many notifications. So it's like, man, like, you can turn them off if you want, but like, what's the point of having Discord if you can't handle being notified of when a channel that you like is putting out content? I don't understand that. So please follow us on all the social media platforms. I'm Karlifornia. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you down the road. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA network.